They have a copy of the Constitution in the Junior Encyclopedia. Yes. Let's see Article number 4. Yes, the full faith and credit shall be given in each state to the public acts. Yeah, records and judicial proceedings from every other state. And the Congress may by general laws prescribe the manner in which such acts, records, and proceedings shall be proved in the effect thereof. Now, this Congress that's been passing these various federal laws, yes, known as the Full Faith and Credit Act, yes, the Violence Against Women's Act, yes, the Parental Kidnapping Protection Act, yes. You know, every time there's been a forgery of Heidi Lee Budner, yes, mhm, happens to violate Article number 4, Section 1. Oh. Then there's Section 2. Yes, I'm a citizen of the state of Washington. Yes, and when I inform the state legislature, courts are issuing court orders that are enforceable in every state, territory, and possession of the United States. Yes. And when I inform them that I didn't get any due process, yes, their answer to the problem was, well, if I have a problem, I can motion a court. Now I can't motion the court. You didn't do what the requirements of the law require. Now, this dissolution of marriage where my wife said that she couldn't find me, yeah. The last 4 years, I've sent approximately 3 million emails. And every person said they're not going to enforce the laws of the United States. But I took it upon myself to go to the Office of the United States Attorneys. Yeah. United States Department of Justice, Office of the United States of Attorneys. Yes. Could you get me the Office of the United States Attorneys for the last 100 years? Now, these attorneys of the United States, yes, they have an obligation to make sure, yes, that all federal laws are enforced, right, that all state laws are enforced, yes, and this Constitution that you say is an arbitrary obligation for every attorney in the Department of Justice right now. They have an obligation as attorneys of the United States to make sure that there isn't a state anywhere in this nation, yeah, that issues any court order that has the full faith and credit of the nation. Now, what I really liked is they have this little glossary of words. Yes. Affirmed, affidavit, acquittal. Yes. The Alford plea. Yes. Defendant's plea allows him to assert innocence. Yep. Without conducting a trial. Allows the court to sentence the defendant without conducting a trial. Yes. Essentially, the defendant is admitting evidence is sufficient to show guilt. Yes. Now, such a plea is often made for the purpose of negotiating a deal with the prosecutors for a lesser sentence. Yes. Now, when I asked you to admit the evidence that I was on the bus that morning, right, you wouldn't even do that for me. I couldn't have an Alford plea because you wouldn't admit any evidence. Now, the allegation, something that someone says that has happened. Yes. The answer, the formal written statement by a defendant responding to a civil complaint and setting forth the grounds for defense. Then there's the appeal, the appellate, the arraignment. Oh, a proceeding in which an individual who is accused of committing a crime is brought into court, told of the charges, yeah, and asked to plead guilty or not guilty. Now, obviously, I did plead not guilty, when I was arraigned on January 5th of 2016, because I wasn't in Sequim, Washington. So, but they didn't even do that for me in Jefferson County. When being arraigned in front of Judge Landis, yes, I asked her, where'd you send the notice of court hearing? Now, I would say I can sue you for arraigning me, yes, knowing I wasn't in Jefferson County, yes, knowing I wasn't in Sequim, Washington, yeah, and knowing that I hadn't emailed any of the co-workers of Honey Lee Burnett.